summers are here, along with the pandemic, and the temperatures are soaring, 42 degrees as we speak. But there's something hotter than the climate. That's the new Honda City. Honda claims that the 5th generation Honda City is going to redefine the segment. It's going to take on the likes of the Ciaz, the Verna and all those things. So overall, this car has a lot of answering to do. So without any further ado, let's start driving the car, let's show you the features and let's talk about the 5th generation Honda City. But before we do that, do remember to hit that subscribe button and press that bell icon so that you get notified every time we go live with a new content. As far as the dimensions go, the new City is longer and wider, and yet Honda engineers have been able to reduce weight by a little over 4 kg. This is also possible thanks to the use of lightweight high tensile steel. There are numerous other technical changes made to the old Jazz platform, and in comes this all new one. But most of these changes are something which cannot be seen by the naked eye. So let's get to the things we can see. So here we have the 5th generation Honda City with us, and the first thing to grab your eyeballs is the headlamp unit. Now these headlamp units are LEDs, 9 array LEDs to be precise, and the most important thing is there's a lot of chrome element on the front of the car. Now what is very similar to the Amaze is this portion, and this seems to be the newest addition to Honda's global design philosophy. Apart from that, the bumper is also fully loaded, and overall the car looks really sporty up front. I'm also happy to report that Honda has added blind spot mirrors out here, so there's a little camera hidden under the ORVM, and overall this beams the camera feed into the infotainment system. Now that's something which is excellent, and we really like this feature. As far as the rear of the car is concerned, we like the fact that the sporty hue of the City, which we saw in the front, has been carried over to the rear of the car. So these tail lamps are all LEDs, and the boot is also releasable from inside, outside and from here. So overall the City looks the part. In profile too, it looks really nice. There's a strong shoulder line on the side, and Honda tells us that it is inspired by the katana, which is a sword. So overall, excellent looking car. Now for the most interesting part of the new Honda City, connected technologies. So now these are the days of connected cars. What do you mean by connected cars? Basically, when you are away from your car, you can do a lot of things with the car. So the 5th generation Honda City comes with an app as well. And what you need to do is very simple. You need to unlock the phone first and foremost. And then there's an app. When you go to the app, you'll get various options. Now say for example you want to switch on the AC while you are away. All you need to do is press on the AC, set a temperature and say done. And the car is starting up. As you can see, it's telling me what is the temperature which the car is at and all the controls. You can also do the same thing using the Alexa app. So that means that you can pair this car, or rather its infotainment system and the brains of the car, to the Alexa system you've got at home, and ask Alexa to do the same things which you can do with this app. So overall, this is a very unique feature, and as you could hear, the car has started up, the AC is cooling, and I think it's about time that we got into the car and quickly got cooled down, right? So the 5th generation Honda City, much like the exteriors, come with brand new interiors also. I'm happy to report that the interior quality of the car is really nice. There are soft touch elements all across the body panels, and it's really nice and premium touch. Something like this is very nice, it looks premium. There's a little bit of wood also in here. So overall, the car looks very nice and plush from inside. There are a lot of storage spaces also. There's a one nice slot here where you can put your mobile phone. Then there are these numerous cubby holes. Here you can have 250 liter PET bottles and also cups. Apart from that, a little bit of storage space here, and of course the gear lever in the middle. the City comes with a really loaded instrument panel and an infotainment system. So let's start with the infotainment system first. Now this is Apple, Android, all of those things are ready for this, and I really like the way the system operates. It's a nice touch feel, and it's a very clear to read infotainment system, and it gives you a lot of features. And there are some other trick features also on this system, which I'm going to show you a little later, which is connectivity. So basically what happens is you download an app on your mobile phone and you can connect to the infotainment system. What that system does is it also allows you to take selfies. What this infotainment system also does is beam the feed from the blind spot cameras, which are fitted on the left hand side ORVM. So overall, this system is not just something which you can listen to audio or speak to people on the phone, but this is a really loaded system. The climate control controls are right below it, and it's a very clear to read. It's a 3-knob system out here, and it looks really nice. And there's like a positive click in this buttons when you operate it, and I like that precision. It's a very different kind of feel when you turn a knob and you can hear a click and something's happened. So quality has gone up, feel has gone up, and that's excellent for the Honda City. Now comes the steering wheel. Of course, it's a all leather wrapped, beautiful looking steering wheel, which is very nice to hold. It's got these little recesses out here, so you can hold it in a very sporty manner. Now this being the automatic, we also have paddle shifters out here, so overall quite a loaded thing, and the ergonomics are really nice. As you can see, I'm sitting on the car, we have put it on park, we are waiting to go, and everything falls into hand. There's also a little scroller button here which is operable, and it's also a very nice precisionally working thing. The buttons are also really nice. When you press the button, you hear a click, and that's something which I really like when I'm on the go. Instrument panel. Now at first glance, the instrument panel looks like just a plain Jane, but look carefully. It's a TFT LCD screen, and whatever you see is actually not an analog dial. It is something which is totally different, and it can be customized according to your needs. So if the door is open, it will tell you door is open. There's a graphic which comes out there, and it's a nice looking thing, very soothing. And you can also control the brightness by this knob which is right here, again ergonomically placed. So overall, the car is a very nice place to be, and I really like the way they have completely changed the look and feel of the Honda City. But as they say, the city is all about driving. So let's buckle up first, as is the norm, and let's get driving. So here we go. We have the two petrol variants which Honda will be offering in India. First one being the manual, and the second one being this, the CVT. Now let's start with the engine. The engine is extremely refined. Now below the 2000 rev mark, you can barely hear it inside the cabin, and I'm happy to report that like we are trundling down at 50-60 kilometers an hour. It's a joy. It's a beautiful engine. I also like the power delivery of the car, and in spite of being bigger than before, power remains the same, and it's a nice feel to drive this car. It doesn't feel sluggish at all. Now for the CVT. The CVT is extremely responsive. Now what happens is, the moment you touch the accelerator, the ratios change and the car's revs rise. Now when that happens, the engine becomes audible inside the cabin. Now above 2000 RPM, you can hear the engine very clearly inside the cabin. Now especially the case if you are in sport mode. Like the moment you put it into sport, you can hear the engine very clearly inside the cabin. But that is above the 2500 RPM mark, which you will really do. Adding to the joy factor of driving are the paddle shifters. Now when you shift through the ratios, again very responsive. It doesn't feel like a CVT. It quickly changes through the ratios and goes towards the horizon. I love that feeling of driving this automatic Honda City. Ride quality, still sporty and rather absorbing. Like right now we are driving on some really bad stretch of roads, and inside I'm very, very comfortable. I can barely hear any noise from the suspension or anything like that. Yes, at high speeds, you do get to hear the tire noise a lot inside, like when you're doing above 100, 110, 120 kilometers an hour. Well, it's clearly audible inside. Now, and this has been a case with Honda cars for a long time now. You know, the tire noise problem has been there with the Honda cars for a long time. So overall, the drive factor, interesting. It's really nice to drive. Transmission version of the new City is also a joy to drive. This is primarily because the clutch is light and the gearbox has a certain notch to it, which we have always loved about Honda gearboxes. The other thing is that the manual transmission car is a lot more docile as compared to the CVT version. It remains calmer in comparison, and the spirited feel can be brought back the moment one downshifts. So in case you want to get into that sporty hue, all you need to do is downshift and get going. The rest of the parameters of the car remain the same, the steering remains the same, and we like the feedback which the unit gives us even in the manual transmission car. The suspension is also at the same level. Gone are the pothole crashing tendencies of Honda cars. This feels so much more smoother. The 5th generation City is miles ahead of the current generation model. But here lies a catch. In India, Honda will continue to sell the 4th generation model alongside the new 5th generation model we've been driving. This also means that the new City will sit right below the Civic. Now, does that mean the City is going to get far more expensive than before? Well, it is sure going to be a little more expensive, but we hope that the pricing is kept sensible so that it still remains to be the City which everybody owns and loves to drive.